climate change in Copenhagen. I have with me Stine Bosse, Chief Executive Officer of TrygVesta, the Nordic country's second largest general insurer. And when we talk about Copenhagen now, the place where we are sitting, in 1728 there was a great fire that went into the history books as the Copenhagen fire. 3 years later, your company was founded because citizens felt they should be insured against such events. Now, we don't have only to put out a Copenhagen fire these days, but a global fire, global warming. So, in your view, Copenhagen as an event, a UN negotiation at in these days, what should Copenhagen be the endpoint of, and what do you think will emerge from Copenhagen?
I think that Copenhagen should be and will be the endpoint of debating whether climate change is happening. I mean, it's so visible. I've just chaired a session where the whole industry, insurance industry of the world, all the largest players as well, are saying we're not here to debate whether it's happening. We can see it's been happening actually for several years, and I think that the acknowledgement that we need to do stuff is going to be very, very clear from the Copenhagen sessions here, and also the willingness from nations to actually contribute and to participate in taking this further. Well, I think it's pretty obvious for me anyway that if you want to create peace of mind and true peace of mind, you need to be able to act. It is not done with just talks and talks and talks again. You need to debate stuff, but you also need to be able to act. So the community, the institution that should be in place should be also a place for action. It should be an entity where you can actually trust that debates will go on. There needs to be sort of a high level of debates, that people are not suppressed and sort of unwanted, but that the debates are welcome, but also that you need to get to the points for decisions and to the points where actions will have to take place. And I feel that we probably have some of the institutional framework in our hands. And I'm a true believer of the United Nations as a true and sort of well constituted and institutionalized institution to do global frameworking. But I would hope that the institution that should actually take this further would have more actions in their hands and would be left with more power than what we see today.
Could it be that cities could save the global climate?
I think cities have more than a central role to play, and I think the initiatives that you are sort of facilitating are absolutely the way to take this forward. The way that it's done on a voluntary basis, people actually want to do this. They can see that they do it for their own benefit and their own well-being. That is a fantastic energy that is within this organization. And I do think that cities actually already are making a huge difference. And I think that from both a more sort of theoretical or technical point of view, that cities are also part of the problem and needs to be part of the solution. But more so, I think that in many ways cities and the governments of cities are much more pragmatic in the ways to solutions. And it is solutions that we need. And therefore cities will have to play a central role.
Mm-hmm. So what moment comes to your mind where you felt it was the most depressing one? And what moment comes to mind where you said, oh well, we are really successful?
It's very important I think this goes for cities and for businesses and everybody that works in this area, that you have to admit that this is difficult and you will do mistakes, you'll make mistakes. There will be areas where you would rather not have a lot of publicity, and that is very important. But it should not hold us back. It should not prevent us from doing what is necessary. Now, we set out that we would reduce our CO2 emissions within the insurance company, and a huge contributor to our CO2 emissions is our traveling. We are in 4 nations, so of course we do a lot of travel, and a lot of it's airborne travel. So
Right.
that was part of our sort of lowering our emissions. And we have actually, we gave ourselves 2 years, and we've actually failed to lower our emissions on traveling this year, because we introduced a new organizational structure that actually, you know, facilitated and wanted people to meet more across borders. So, but what we have done is that we have installed video rooms, we have encouraged people to do telephone meetings, and we have actually cut the budgets for traveling next year quite dramatically. So we've said to people, now you know each other, now you can handle it over the phone or so on. That part I wasn't too pleased with. What I was very pleased with was that we engaged our 4,000 employees in actually sharing their experiences for private CO2 initiatives. And that was very encouraging to see how many things people have done and how many good ideas they had to share with each other, and also good ideas for the company that we could actually take on and say, that's a good idea. We can lower our CO2 emission, and these ideas were created by the employees. That I was pretty proud of.
Very good. Thank you very much, Stine Bosse, CEO of TrygVesta at the Local Government Climate Lounge in Copenhagen at the Time for Real Questions.